So in my last video, I let you know that I play a lot of WoW, and I decided to make a video listing my top problems with Cataclysm. My number one issue with Cata has to be the tone. Number one, the tonal shifts. I could understand that after Wrath of the Lich King being so dark and gritty that Blizzard would want to lighten things up a little bit, but the problem is the juxtaposition. The dark and gritty juxtaposed with the just plain stupid. Now, humor definitely has its place in World of Warcraft, and there are some really hilarious quests, but the problem is, when you have things back to back that are serious and badass and completely ridiculous and retarded, it cheapens the drama and it makes the comedy seem really stupid, and the best example of this has to be the questing zone vashj'ir. Now, vashj'ir has a nice setup and a nice aesthetic. You're going on a boat to fight the Horde in this epic battle over this island that has just surfaced, but on your way there, you get shipwrecked by what is basically the Kraken from the pirate movies, and you get trapped underwater, you're cut off from the world. It's a really desperate and dark situation. And you also get some cool lore and backstory about the Naga and the Highborn through Lady Vaj and her commander that you get to play as during some quests, which I thought was really cool. I really liked all that part. Unfortunately, sprinkled throughout and constantly interrupting all of this epic, cool shit going on, there's this guy.
Ahoy! I'm sailing!
Yeah, that's Bud. So in between all of your friends and companions dying and struggling to survive, you also have to help him kill a giant shark because he feels like it, and a bunch of other really, really stupid shit, and you have to put up with his voice acting, and he's just constantly cutting in, destroying any tension that has been built up, and just making the whole zone really weird and difficult to play through. And what were you thinking? I don't know whose idea Bud was, but can they, not be in charge of anything else ever again, please? But the really annoying thing is that Bud on his own is not terrible. I mean, he's used to much greater effect later on in Oldham, which is a much more lighthearted and fun zone that is mostly joking, and so when he's there, he isn't so out of place, and he isn't just completely destroying the mood and the feel that the rest of the area seems to be trying to maintain. One of my other big problems with Cataclysm is that it seems rushed and there's a lot of incomplete content, and I'm going to keep harping on vashj'ir because it's an easy target and I don't like it. The basic gist of things is that vashj'ir has no conclusion. It has no finish to its storyline. It just stops. So you get through the Throne of the Tides dungeon and that big Kraken motherfucker eats the elemental Lord of Water, and that's it. It's over. Goodbye. Thanks for playing. What? Didn't the main supervillain of this entire zone just basically win? And we're just gonna walk away? And we're never gonna mention this again? And the rest of the expansion is gonna play out and none of this is gonna come up? Nothing of this is gonna be resolved. We're just gonna leave this. We're just gonna be like, good luck with that, Ocean. You have fun being fucked up the butt. We've got treasure to dig up in Oldham? What? Why did I just waste so much of my time trying to stop this lady? She won. We're just gonna leave. That's it. That's the end. Goodbye. Okay, what? What was I even doing here? What was any of this about? Oh my god, why? This sucks. It's like, Liz, you can't do this. You have to conclude what you started, okay? Or else I feel like this whole questing experience was just, why? What? Why? Why was I here? And when you get to raiding, it becomes really obvious that Blizz wanted to do some sort of elemental raid theme with Alakir being air, Ragnaros being fire, and you could even argue that Bastion of Twilight was kind of earthy, and so clearly they probably had a water raid that they wanted to make that would conclude this story, but they never did that, so that plot thread is completely fucked up the butt. As a huge lore nerd, this really bugs me. I want to know what happens next. I want to know how this whole questing zone is resolved. There's no resolution. None. Like, that That's really weird and unprofessional and not what you would expect out of Blizzard at all. And nobody really seems to talk about it. Nobody really seems to mention it. Blizzard's just kind of glossed over it, and what the fuck? My other major issue is what the fuck happened to the Worgen? So in Burning Crusade, the Draenei and the Blood Elves are so involved in Outland, you want to roll one of those characters to feel involved in that whole plot, involved in the whole expansion. But the Worgen, outside of the Worgen starting zone, they have nothing. They have like 2 small townships out in the middle of Lobby questing, and that's it. And that's being generous. And the only place you really see a lot of Worgen is if you're on the Horde and you do Silverpine, which if you're on the Alliance and you're playing a Worgen, shit out of luck. You don't get to see any of that. And it sucks. The Goblins are much more heavily involved. They have like whole questing zones and shit. But also, where's their prince? He just completely disappears off the map. You finish the questing zone and then, I don't know, they got a trade prince, I guess, who made that deal with Thrall, but he's nowhere to be seen. Like, I guess at least Greymane is hanging out in the throne room in Stormwind, so it's like, oh yeah, we kind of got a presence, I guess, but he's not even in Worgen form, and like, there's one Worgen in the entire city, and she's the druid trainer, and she's hanging out in a little shack out in the garden, and that's it. And it's like, they don't do anything in Cata, they have no roles, they're not special in any way, we never go back to Gilneas, we never get to see that cool architecture again, outside of one battleground that is basically Arathi Basin just cut out 2 nodes. Like, are you serious? Are you shitting me? What? There needs to be more resolution. Stop dropping shit. Stop dropping these plot threads. These characters are interesting. I want to know more about them. Oldham, really? Cat people? That was more. You wanted to invest more time in an entire questing zone into the discovery and discussion of cat people and Indiana Jones jokes. That was more important to you than the new race that you created and brought to the forefront. It's like, even in Lich King, the Death Knights were incredibly important. And then you get to Cata, and it's like, yeah, Worgen. They exist? Thanks, guys. Cata's over with! Last boss of the X-Pack. It's all done now. Now I'm still here. So, I don't hate Cata, I actually like Cata a lot. These are just my major complaints, and what kind of fangirl would I be if I didn't bitch about it?